How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout, the YouTube show where you subscribe for a video every single day where we talk about the cryptocurrencies you know and love. And of course, today I think that it's very appropriate for us to be giving some attention to Holo. Of course, HoloChain is one of those cryptocurrencies that continues to see something like 23% gains on a regular basis. We've been seeing HoloChain is really, it's pretty hot, if I can turn a phrase. HoloChain, I think, is definitely a crypto that's been getting my attention. In particular, one reason is how it's been performing. Even in this market where we're seeing stuff like Bitcoin and the top 100 struggling to even maintain themselves at their current prices. And a lot of people have been saying that we are approaching the bottom. And from there, I mean, once we hit bottom, I suppose there's no place to go but up. But still, one of the things that Holo still remains to have is, essentially a big hurdle that HoloChain needs to jump over is actual applicability in the real world, which I think is something that goes a long way for this cryptocurrency to actually, I mean, look at this right here. HoloChain strikes up above 100% in 7 days. Pretty interesting stuff. We've been seeing, a lot of, this is sort of an old article, but I mean, Holo's always been basically been all over the place in the cryptocurrency space. And it's interesting to see this crypto being pumped, among others. But, the significant amount of attention that has been going towards Holo, I think it does point towards new consideration that people have for blockchain and the different solutions and possible alternatives. So if HoloChain really does get up and going, I really think that this crypto really could change the game. Now, of course, I also am going to have to start with a disclaimer. I mean, big risk equals big reward. Big reward is big risk. I mean, that's just cryptocurrency in and of itself. But I've been talking to some of my friends, and people have been really riding the wave of HoloChain. I mean, taking these 23% gains, that's pretty juicy. That's pretty nice gains right there. And I'm sure that there's plenty of people who are just cutting it off, not being too greedy, taking their profits where they can get them. And of course, I mean, that's pretty substantial. If this was happening to some stock, it would be all over the news. But of course, cryptocurrency, business as usual, that 23% gain could just as easily be smited off the map and at a moment's notice. However, I mean, you could not be greedy, and essentially, it's an interesting crypto. So we've got the live value of HoloChain coming up right here. First things first, I also want to talk about some of these articles that, we've got, Fed chair concerned about 22 trillion US debt. Is Bitcoin a viable alternative? We've talked about this before. Fiat currency isn't without its own problems. As much as people might talk about the various different concerns that they have when it comes to cryptocurrency and all these different things. The fact of the matter is nothing in this world is going to be for certain. We've got the world debt clock is constantly ticking. This is something that we always talk about on this channel. It's sort of become a meme on this channel to be talking about. Almost about to hit 22 in U.S. national, which is pretty substantial amount of global debt, and it's interesting to see. And of course, a short history of major fiat currency collapses and what triggers them. I think this was an interesting article as well to be paid attention to, and it's something that shouldn't be ignored. We are sort of living in a house of cards, and it's interesting when you consider what cryptocurrency was originally intended to be, and how it ultimately could serve to be the thing that could bail out the old paradigm and usher in the cryptocurrency space, which is why we've also been seeing a lot of these interesting articles of the cryptocurrency space. But one thing that I really wanted to get off to a start about is HoloChain and social media apps being a perfect fit. This is an article that's definitely worth our attention. Just to read a little bit of it for you. HoloChain apps are versatile, resilient, scalable. Definitely highlights scalable and thousands of times more efficient than blockchain. No token or mining required. The purpose of HoloChain is to enable humans to interact with each other, mutual consent to shared set of rules. And there's been a lot of obviously, Facebook always under fire. And of course, the legacy social media platforms, really Twitter, Facebook, all taking hits left and right, especially with the way that they were designed. And realistically, when the curtain falls and people see what's actually going on, what Facebook is doing, accumulating data and how they've been treating their user bases, it's definitely a sign that Facebook is sort of an old paradigm and a social media platform in decline. And we've seen a lot of these different articles that have talked about how the old era of social media was essentially to exploit basic things about human psychology, and what HoloChain realistically, and it's when it wants to do, with its new social media and all these different things. It's interesting. This Junto, Junto is a new breed of social media, integrate a more, consistently designed interface, distributed technology, and nonprofit approach to creating a space where people can truly be themselves. I think, HoloChain could be on the forefront of something here, a new age of social media where at one point in the future we might be looking back to the designs of these Facebook and all these different platforms and wondering how it was able to go the way that it was, the feedback loops, all these different things. And it's also interesting to see Apple and Facebook going at it lately, which is also another indication of the fact that these old legacy social medias are sort of destined to crumble. And social media targets vulnerabilities of human psychology, the mental health, and all these different things. And I think when we talk about something like what HoloChain could bring to the table, it's an interesting argument to be made. And certainly if we could see this sort of thing happening, these sort of price movements are certainly not to be ignored. Definitely very interested in seeing where HoloChain can take us in the future. And it's an interesting crypto. You look at how long HoloChain has actually been around, and it's interesting to see that now it's finally starting to get the attention that it deserves in a big way. And of course, this is all coming at a very interesting time. We had a sole access of 190 million worth of customers crypto. Now, definitely some interesting articles for you guys to check out on this Faze cryptocurrency news aggregator. I'm not going to be going into all of them on this video, but one thing's for certain, we are seeing pretty interesting price movements as far as HoloChain is concerned. We see Holo has been pretty much all over the place for the past this is really nothing new. The cryptocurrency space is always marked by extreme volatility, but just this last month has been a pretty dramatic time for HoloChain, and I think that it's also an interesting indication of what we can expect to see as far as the volatility aspect of this space and how things have been developing. Of course, market cap being where it is at 114 billion. Some interesting things always on the horizon. Of course, researcher Bitcoin will easily surpass market cap of gold at 8 trillion. Wouldn't that be crazy? I'm sure all of us would be having a great big party if that happened. Crypto's most fervor crusaders have sought to keep their heads up in the drastic bone-crushing bear market. While optimism is often taken the form of the institutional head is coming narrative, a number of Bitcoin natives have begun to revisit the asset's underlying value proposition. There's no end to Bitcoin to grow ground. I think this is definitely an interesting article. I'd recommend you guys taking a look at Willy Woo with this interesting tweet right here. Now, this is the reason why he thinks Bitcoin will easily exceed gold's market cap. Mathematical scarcity beats. I mean, we could go over the regular arguments about, Bitcoin can be sent much easier and, quicker than gold. But I mean, it's just something to keep in mind while we have this discussion. But I think right now, HoloChain has been able to find stability. I mean, barring the certain dynamics that we might see that involve the overall market cap. I mean, certainly, we could see the cryptocurrency space going either way. But it has been an interesting Q1 of 2019. We're about almost halfway through it now, and it's interesting to see how these different developments have been implementing themselves. But I'm certainly interested in seeing what HoloChain is going to have to bring to the table. This is also an interesting tweet that I would bring to your attention. And some plebs are saying HoloChain is a pump and dump, but there's no reason there's a good reason how it's pumping, YDOR, and you could see the potential. So, I mean, definitely HoloChain's. If you aren't already checking it out, for those of you who might be just interested in researching, this crypto, it's definitely an interesting technology to be paying attention to. Hard to ignore, especially with the volatility aspect of it. But yeah, all that being said, if you guys are interested in hearing more or connecting with us, of course, feel free to connect with us on Twitter. That's at CryptoTuber. As always, I hope you guys have found this video interesting, informative, and educational. Of course, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Now, obviously, this video is not financial advice by any means, and my opinion on HoloChain remains pretty bullish. I've been involved with the HoloChain. From my perspective, I've been holding HoloChain for quite some time now. I've been, accumulating, trying not to be too all these different things, try not to be too greedy, because obviously the HODL method can be quite dangerous in the bear market, but I suppose it's all par for the course when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. Regardless, things to keep in mind while we move forward. But yeah, I'm fundamentally interested in seeing what we can expect to see from this cryptocurrency, especially as we see these different levels, volume and all these different things need to be taken into consideration respectively. But all that being said, definitely go and make sure that you guys follow us on Twitter. And of course, subscribe if you're not already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.